2/8 the guy, a standard sideways A-frame. All right, so I got a long piece of power cord. Whatever I want to do, I can do a blitz or like a bowline with a bite and a forward-facing loop via Yosemite retrace, which is probably what I'll do here. I just need to establish some kind of anchor, so I tie this with a bite. And I don't need a huge bite. Get my forward-facing loop in there.
Medic engine 23 and medic ambulance 22. Response to unconscious person.
So there's my loop. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, that's one anchor point. So a much bigger object this time. Can I do a blitz? Sure. So this is my rescue Beckett, or double Beckett with a Yosemite finish. Get that knotted on the back side so it doesn't see much tension. So I have two anchors built. Okay, so I'm using one single strand of power cord, it's 165 feet, and what I'm going to do here is we're going to do a constrictor hitch. They dubbed it the C-ring. So your standard constrictor hitch would just be like making the S-turns, taking the bites, folding over their tails into a sandwich. But what I'm going to do is, don't back away from me. If I did a standard, you see like how we have three strands here. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to treat this whole thing as one piece of cordage. So if this is one piece of cordage, now I do my C-ring constrictor hitch, and in the end result, what I get when I slip this over, you see all the cordage, it's wrapped around, and now I have two opposing loops with tails. Now I can do my non-working 3-to-1 back ties on this. So standard back tie, clip in, so here, make a circle. That's going to end up going in like that on the opposing anchor, and I drag this out. Beyond my anchor, so it gives me distance to actually clip in, rotate, get all that slack out, make sure that nothing's crossed over. With the round turn, then I'll just do 2 half hitches. Okay, and we do the other side. So carabiner in, get myself another one, make my circle, so that's in. There's my, what's gonna be my change of direction, clip that in, it's gonna end up looking like that on the anchor, so I bring this down beyond my anchor, gives me room that I can actually clip into it, rotate, and then double check my strands and make sure nothing is twisted. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tension it this side against this, because I want this to lean 5 to 10 degrees over, about right there. That'll give me what I need. So round turn it to hold that tension, or hold that progress that I made, and then 2 half hitches. All right, let's see what we have. So the C-ring, and James, you can let go. Now let's have a look at kind of how we'll look at our angles. So I'll take the camera. So guying angles, we want these guys to be at least 30 degrees, ideally 45, away from the plane of these two compression members. So at least 30 degrees, 45 ideal. So on this side too, at least 30 degrees, 45 ideal. That's kind of our benchmark. So that's one. The second one is we want, as best as we can, to get these guys to bisect the two frames. So here it's a little bit forward. I mean, it's not exact every time, but that's kind of our benchmark. That's where we want to be. So we want to get these guys to bisect the frame of our compression members, going right through there. So this is called the constrictor hitch C-ring. Right here, you just take the midpoint of your power cord and then dual purpose it out for guys on both sides. We like non-working 3-to-1 back ties on both ends, just for consistency's sake. In all reality, you're probably, when this gets weighted, you can argue that maybe one side or the other doesn't need all 3 strands, but 3 strands is better than a single strand, especially, or even better than a single main rope, because 3 strands will resist stretching more than a single line will. And we don't want to have this excessive stretch in our guying system. We're going to do the Portuguese bowline on top of this. So I'm going to grab both inner tubes coming out of the head. And yeah, I can go right around here, but like who's to say that this can't pop off or slip off? So a good technique is to thread this through the holes in the head, these triangular holes in the head. Can you see here? So we have 2 on each side. That's kind of like your best go-to. So Portuguese bowline, here we go. Bring this up. Bring this in. I want to do this with a bite and a forward-facing loop. Yosemite retrace. So there's my sanity check, make sure it's a bowline. And now I go around everything, open up the bottom section, give myself a little gap to get my forward-facing loop in, close the gap up right there. Okay, now I have my what I need to do my non-working 3-to-1 back tie. So carabiner in, I have my strand already. I make a circle and get another carabiner and I drag it out. Rotate in, I can grab, again, when I drag this out, I want to drag it out a little bit further so that I can actually have room to rotate the carabiner in. Clip in. Wrap 3, pull through with a knot on the back side. That's perfectly fine. I get this, check that it's okay. Okay, that's good. Just dog this off. 2 half hitches. Good. 1 and 2. All right, now I'm gonna jump. So I got this set. And let's see if I can jump in a way, like in theory, maybe I could jump all the way up into here and leave this kind of up, but I don't want this to interfere with my lines. So maybe it's better if I just let this go to the ground completely and then start anew with a bite up here. So it's a little bit trickier when I don't start with the tail. I have to treat this bite as if it were the tail to do my Portuguese bowline. So when I do this, I want to mirror the same level. If I can, I always want to guy higher than my main working lines, my belay lines, and I want to match each side on the same level. So wherever I guy in on that side, I want to guy in at the same level on this side. So I don't want to have different, otherwise you'll create this torquing effect on your frame. So we don't want that. Okay, I'm gonna need a little bit more for this. Okay, I'm doing the same thing at Portuguese, but it's just now I'm basically doing like double with a bite instead of a single line. So there's my, it's gonna be my Portuguese. Lay that in, bring this up, inside with a bite. Yosemite retrace everything to get my forward-facing loop, and it's not pretty, but it works. And then we can adjust where we want this to be. So where are my strands coming out? They're right here. So that's where I want it. I'm going down that way. Okay, maybe too far. There we go. All right. just like before. Carabiner in. And this time I want to make sure that I don't use that jumper that's right here. I want to use, so this jumper stays put, I want to use this piece right here. So make my loop or my circle. This is my change of direction. It's going to end up looking like that when all is said and done. And then I drag this out. I went a little bit higher this time to give myself a better angle. Like in my last video I said minimum 30 degrees away from the plane of these compression members, minimum a 30-degree fan out, 45 ideal. So minimum 30, 45 is ideal. Rotate it, check it, is everything straight? All right, tension this, do a round turn, absorb that friction, and dog off the 2 half hitches. Okay, now since we said that we wanted to cant this frame out 5 to 10 degrees to make room for these working lines, I'm going to set that non-working screw on a back tie, not touch it. This one, I'm going to tension it a little bit to kind of crank that angle out for me. So I apply a little bit of tension. You can see this thing start to move towards me a little bit. That's kind of where I want to be. And then we dog off. Criteria. So the guys are on the same plane, height-wise. So no, they aren't doing this, because if they did this, they would flip everything over. So they're on the same plane. The angles this time are much better than the C-ring here. So they're fanning out. That's better. That's like at a 45 degree angle on both sides. So that's good. Now as you pan the camera around and we look at how we split here, you can see that, so that's much better. So that bisects those compression members very nicely. So that's what we want. So that one bisects pretty well. Let's take a look at the other one. And also that one bisects very nicely. So yeah, 2 ways to guy. Take the bite, do a triple constrictor C-ring on the head, or you can do dual Portuguese bowlines with non-working 3-1 back ties all around. Anytime you guy frames, I mean, you don't have to, but it's a goal. Like, try to do non-working 3-1 back ties. You can never go wrong if you do it that way. So just those are options on how to guy your standard sideways A-frame.